Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of General Geekery. It's been a while since we've done a show, but we're back. And with me, as always, is JD, depending on how you're looking at the screen.
Yes, it has been a while. Mostly real life circumstances.
Which, for one time, was not me being out of the country.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was mostly on my end this time. I think we did a couple of shows at the end of last year, and then
that was about it.
Yeah, and then this year, early on, it started. Well, late last year, it started to go to crap, and then early this year, the going to crap basically went to warp speed and
got to crap and stayed at crap.
Well, yeah, basically. Yeah. So now I feel like I'm sort of picking up some of the pieces. So
this is definitely one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and as always, our topic is I have no idea because we never play in our shows. I mean, sometimes we'll have a guest, but I mean, I was
gonna say
guest, but that's we don't plan on what we talk about.
Yeah, if we have a guest, that usually gives us a guideline, but when it's just the two of us, well, we fly by the seat of our pants. And by fly by the seat of our pants, I mean neither of us is a qualified pilot. So basically we'd be sitting in like a museum replica and wondering why it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. I'm qualified to escape from a helicopter underwater still, but that's about
it. I'll be honest, I can't see myself getting on a helicopter. Not opposed to it. There's just no life circumstances in which I would end up on one. But if I was to end up on one, if that helicopter does end up in the water, I am royally, completely screwed.
It's fun. I'm glad I was never on one that crashed, but it can be fun. I will tell you that.
All right, so that does remind me. Last weekend I was watching Armageddon, and there's that part where they're at the NASA facility and they're in the giant water tank and they're doing the run. So at one time, did you tell me that you've been in the giant water tanks in Houston?
Yes.
What was the purpose of that? Like,
was it the neutral?
Why were you in there in the first place?
I was at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab in Houston, which is where the astronauts train, to do my first, to get certified to do basic offshore survival and underwater helicopter underwater escape training. So you have to have that stuff to work offshore, and my company wanted me to work offshore of Africa.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense, because if you're working offshore and something happens when you're on the way out to the job site, you have to know what. All right, that makes sense.
Because I've only been maybe one or two places where we took a boat out to the platform, but most of the time, it's a helicopter.
Yeah, because I know you've spent a good lot of time on a helicopter. I was pretty sure that it had nothing to do with astronaut training, but then it occurred to me I had never actually asked for clarification on that, and I can't so much see you wanting to be an astronaut.
I did when I was a kid, but I'm not smart enough. So
I feel like every kid wanted to be an astronaut.
Emily, I had multiple. She went to the astronaut training camp for kids when she was a little kid.
Wait, who did? What?
Emily.
Oh, your wife actually went to space camp?
Yeah, she went to space camp.
Wait, she wasn't in that movie Space Camp with Leah Thompson, was she? No.
I don't think so. I think she would have mentioned that by now.
Unless she was an extra in the background and didn't realize that they were filming or something. But
yeah, and then she was going to join the Air Force, become a pilot, and then become an astronaut. But her eyesight is, Coke bottle glasses does not even begin to cover that. And they're like, nope.
Yes. My sister at one time wanted to be, when she was a kid, she wanted to be an astronaut. And one time she was when she was like in middle school, she was considering trying to do the Air Force, wanted to do the Air Force Academy, but it turns out she was too short to fly. So, because she tops out at like 5 foot, I think. And yeah, there was a guy that my dad was assigned with at one of the bases that we were at, who he wasn't an Air Force pilot, but he was in the Air Force, and he used to joke that there were no waivers to sign that would allow them to put blocks on the pedals of the aircraft so that
Right.
she could fly.
Yeah.
I could not have possibly qualified to be an astronaut because, first of all, yeah, I can't see shit. I mean, yeah, I'm blind. Also, you have to be able to do things like math. I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do math.
And
It saved my life.
I mean, I was great at science in school right up until they put math into it with chemistry. That was the end of that.
Yep.
Can't do math. I can't do algebra. I can't do any form of math. You know, the whole reading, writing, arithmetic thing. Yeah, I can do the reading and writing thing.
I have to take the counts off to count to 21.
I have to use my fingers sometimes. So, plus, plus when I'm counting stuff, then the attention deficit disorder comes in, and then I lose count and I have to recount. So yeah, no, anything involving math was definitely not a career path for me. So in other words, neither of us were going to space anytime soon.
No.
No. But I don't think I think I'd be a lot like the guys and half the guys in Armageddon, where they take you up in the plane and fly you around and just be throwing up all over the place. So
yeah, I can do hot and I can do bumpy, but I can't do hot and bumpy together, man. It does not work. I get motion sickness, and it's like, yeah, I would not have liked the vomit comment.
And while they're flying you at like Mach 5 or whatever, so
it's not so much the speed, it's the parabola that they fly to get the weightlessness.
the what?
Parabola.
Wow, that's a word I've never heard before. That's a new vocabulary word.
How have you never heard parabola before? Because that's what the logo on Star Trek uniforms is.
I mean the really? Okay. Yeah, I've never heard the word for it before. But okay, here, ironically, I'm the only Trekkie in my family, and I'm the only one that can't do the Vulcan hand symbol too. So shut up.
I can do both.
Dick. Dick. This is I can I can't. So my whole family laughs at me because I'm the only Trekkie and everybody else can do it. So whatever.
Still working on my Vulcan neck pinch. I don't have that down yet, but getting there.
Yeah, but you're in the medical field, you know the pressure points that if you punch hard enough, you can take somebody down. So
it doesn't quite work like that, but yeah.
All right, you're telling me that Hollywood has lied to me? This is bullshit.
I know, right? Who would have thought?
Don't shatter my delusions. So what you're saying is basically oil drillers probably wouldn't be qualified to go into space either, huh?
No, probably not. I don't think so.
Damn.
Probably not. No.
I'm in shock. I'm recovering from this. I can't. All right. Anyways. Dude, what's on your shirt? Is it Pepper Potts?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be just, I think, a female Iron Man, but yeah, it's more or less, since it's redhead, I'm calling it Pepper Potts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna guess that Iron Man, the movie, probably had some kind of influence there.
Man, I don't know. I've had, well, that probably did come out this, yeah, Iron Man came out before this t-shirt. I've had this t-shirt for a long time.
Yeah, because Iron Man came out 2008, so
my timer's going off. That means my cards are done.
Oh, you're Oh, you were making cards for your customs.
Yes.
Were you making the Cobra
one of them I
Black Star
can't.
card?
One of them I can't show you because it's for a commission that I'm kind of like. I can show you, but I can't show it on the camera because I'm actually I'm not even allowed to show you yet because it's just kind of like a condition of the contract between me and my client, which is sounds really fancy, but it's actually somebody. It's not an A-lister, but it's a movie star. So,
I know which one you're talking about. All right, that's cool.
But I got the card for the AVAC done.
All right, that's cool.
And then I need to fix that. My Techno Viper version 2, I decided to make a card after all, so he's going on one of my stock cards.
Okay.
But I did do the
diagram with the like they did on the 1994 cards where you get the little arrows and the little numbers with the explanations for what they are. That's cool.
And I the text is the text from the version 2 file card as well.
That's cool.
And then the card for my female Crimson Guard. That came out pretty nice. And then my Ninja Viper, since there's no vintage art, it goes on one of my stock cards too.
So I know you were working on the art for Cobra Black Star. I'm looking forward to seeing what that card looks like finished.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'll bet it will take me as long to make the card as it does to make the figure.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you showed me the amount of restoration you had to do on the Toxo zombie in order to make a custom card. And I can imagine Black Star is just as bad.
I'm about it.
You said the Toxo zombie art, you spent what, 2 hours just trying to make it, filling in where the package rips had been in the scan. So
yeah, and I have to do that on this one too. There's a way to share my screen. Oh, here it is.
Anybody who's watched us for any length of time knows that we're not technical. So,
can you see my screen at all?
Yeah, with the card back templates and the depressing background scene. Yes. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at on that. I've got a lot of work to do on it still. I need to touch up the logo around Star Brigade. I need to touch up the art on the kind of erase some of the card art from around the edge of the Black Star figure. I need to touch up where the packaging ripped off.
I'm gonna guess that you're taking out the little spinny symbol that says Black Star Blaster Shoots.
No, I will change it to say something else.
Okay. All right. So
if
probably something snarky.
Yes.
Like weapons do not shoot.
Yes. Because if you look at any of my cards that I've done like that, let me do that again. Because I think.
Yeah, because isn't there one of the ninjas you made said something to the effect of spring action, do nothing, spring loaded, do nothing action or something.
Yeah, so
or springless, do nothing action.
So let me see here. So can you see that?
Yeah.
So there's the Toxo zombie card that I made, and it says "ugly as fuck. Weapons really shoot nothing."
Ugly as fuck. Well, there's something you wouldn't see on a professional toy package.
Right, and this will be. I am doing a female Toxo zombie. So stop sharing. So yeah, I'm doing the female Toxo zombie. I'm just waiting for my Marauder order. It should be here maybe tomorrow or Monday.
You know what's sitting next to me? Since I was on that other show with articulated Chad James Raymond Du Bois 2 weeks ago. While I was on that show, Chad he had a carded Overkill version 1, the Talking Battle Commander, and he was going to show it off. And before the show, I said, "Oh, you should open it on the air." Of course, he wasn't going to. And while he was on the show, he pulled it out, and I started going, "Open it, open it, open." Of course, I was being obnoxious.
Right.
Well, so he opened it, and then he said, "Well, when I open it, I'll send it to you." I got it the other day. He did indeed send it to me.
Very
So
cool.
I want to say, Chad, thank you for this. He said he didn't mind sending it because it was going to have a good home. And normally it's going to sit on my work desk, which I'm still working from home. So
Yeah.
it's going to sit on my work desk. But I wanted to show it here because firstly, I really appreciate it. And I want to show him that, yes, it is in fact with me. Also, I had forgotten just how friggin' cool this figure is.
See, I never had
this. I want to double down. I had one when I was a kid, and then as an adult, I had the 2003 version, the Malaway, the repaint of this in like the Spy Troops color scheme. It didn't work as well as this one does. This one's a lot more eye-catching, but this is the first time I've had one since I was a kid, and God, I forgot how great this figure really is.
Well, now I kind of want to. I kind of want to one up him. I'm not going to send you the figure, but maybe I should open a figure on the show.
You should do that. I highly recommend it.
Hang on a sec. Let me go get it.
Brian will probably edit this out, but I'm going to talk to the camera anyways. I don't really have anything that I could open. You know, I had one of the retro style Grand Inquisitors from Obi-Wan. I opened it yesterday. I probably should have saved it for the show, but I didn't know we were going to podcast. Otherwise, I would have opened that. But
all right, so if you're following my Facebook page, which I hope that you are, because that's where most of my stuff goes. One of the things that I've been posting on there is I am in the process of collecting all of the specialty Vipers. I have every specialty Viper from 85. I think that's when Techno Viper or Televiper came out, right? 85.
Yeah.
To 94, except one, and that's the Malaway Ninja Viper. I'm also kind of like on the side picking up army builders as I go along. I've had this one for a long time, and I didn't open it. And I'm putting up all of my figures on the deck of my flag, all of my Cobra figures on the deck of my flag. So I'm planning on getting the vintage edition of this figure. I'm guessing my buddy TA, Alice. You can hear Jack upstairs barking. I'm guessing my buddy TA here in the Springs probably has one. I haven't checked with him, but I'm going to open the figure subscription service. Desert Scorpion.
Whoa, nice.
I'm guessing it's a fairly expensive figure. And you know what?
Yes, all of the figure subscription service figures are expensive. I find it ironic because characters that people hated in the vintage line, the club did a version for this figure subscription. All the ones the club did for the subscription service, they all go for $1.5 million in the secondary market online.
I'm just gonna. Normally, I would just rip it off, but somebody probably wants the file card, so I'm gonna not damage the card so somebody can enjoy the file card later.
I've always been a Crystal Ball fan since 1987. Me and Brian Kaufman and a few other people, we like Crystal Ball. He was a peg warmer.
One of my favorite reimagined customs was a Crystal Ball.
Yeah, I love the original, but even I have vivid memories that in 88 and 89, he could still be readily found on pegs in stores everywhere. He was a peg warmer and a half. I remember going into stores where they would have like overstock in 1989 1990, where you'd still find DJ and Crystal Ball and a few others on the pegs. Crystal Ball was one of those. Nobody likes him, but the figure subscription service version, last time I looked, just out of curiosity, I couldn't find one for less than $100 on eBay.
I don't think
For a character that nobody likes, boy, they're sure paying they're sure paying an arm and a leg to buy the modern version.
Yeah. It's like stupid crazy how much some of these figures are going for. And that's part of my problem is the figures that I get down to for my collection are, and I just lost the gun. No, there it is. The figures that I'm getting down to that I still need for my collection, I'm getting down to like convention figures. So, there's a couple Python Patrol Televipers that were in a convention set, and those go for just stupid money.
Yes.
So,
well, if I'm not mistaken, I think one of them was a parachute drop figure.
One of them is a parachute drop figure.
Yeah, so which always had alternate color schemes from whatever version was in the box set that year, and the parachute drop figures. Yeah, those go for a lot more than even most of the convention exclusives because there were fewer of them. They were bagged.
Which is kind of funny. I've gotten a couple. There are a couple parachute drop figures that I have that I've gotten. They did the Jungle Viper, which is a repaint of like the Joe versus Cobra neurotoxin, I think. So I mean, it's not a pretty figure, quite honestly. But there were two different versions of them, and one was a parachute figure.
Yeah, one was a membership incentive figure.
Yes.
And yeah, he was repainted in slightly different colors, green
and brown boots.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I got a scorpion here. So.
Oh, they used the robotic scorpion from the Valor versus Venom Sand Scorpion, I think.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so, instead of the rubber one piece, the one solid piece, all black organic scorpion from the vintage line.
Yeah, I like this one. I dig this figure. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna definitely have to get the vintage one, even though it's not a specialty Viper.
I do have a carded Super 7, Joe, that I could open.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
See, you can't one-up us. You can try, but you can't one-up us. Although, it's pretty cool that Chad sent that figure to JD. I'm not sending this to JD. Oh, man, I don't know about that.
I have two of them.
Oh.
Yes. The Super 7 reaction Joes that don't have a lot of articulation did a special edition card with a reproduction of the cover for
21
G.I. Joe, the silent issue 21.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to open this. I've got two of them. One is up on the wall along with two other Super 7 Snake Eyes. I don't know why I didn't intend to create a pattern of Super 7 Snake Eyes in the package, but because I've got the bright blue, the Fun School Tribute one, and then I've got the version 2 Snake Eyes in the blue, like in the cartoon color. So I've got this. I'm gonna open it just because.
Well, doing that, let's talk about the Super 7 stuff for a minute. I mean, there is a lot of fucking hate for those figures. I can kind of see that. I think one of the things people don't fucking realize is Super 7 figures have been $18 years and years and years and years and years and years before they got the G.I. Joe license. So, I mean, they were expensive to begin with.
Yeah.
They're like Funko Pops, man. They charge a premium for it, and because I'm assuming they're paying a shit ton of money for licensing.
Well, yeah, I would imagine. I mean, before Super 7 was even its own company, when they were a division of Funko,
Yeah, they were
and they had the first reaction,
reaction.
the first reaction line, like the
I still have,
Terminator and a lot of movie licenses.
yeah, I
Yeah,
still
when
have.
they were at Toys R Us, yeah, like the Terminator 2 reaction figures, yeah, they were like $18. And this
I've got a
was,
few of
I'm
them. I got a
talking,
couple Aliens, a couple Predators, the Rocketeer, Terminator, Back to the Future, and I've got actually you can see them right here. Those are the only figures in this room that are not custom. And then Spock and McCoy.
yeah, my son has, he's got two of the Super 7 Xenomorphs. He's never seen the Alien movies, but he loves Xenomorphs.
Right.
It started with the Leonard Xenomorph figures, but I got him for Christmas last year. He got a couple of the Super 7 ones. But yeah, I remember like looking at the Terminator 2 figures in Toys R Us 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The reaction ones. And yeah, like the T1000, yeah, it was like $17 then. And that was before Super 7 was its own company where they broke off and they started their own. And so it's not new, but yeah, they got the G.I. Joe license last year and they started putting out 5 point of articulation figures and at the same price point. But here's Snake Eyes before he comes off with this little tray.
The articulation
actually,
is honestly the only beef I have with these figures. The thing that I like about these particular figures is they're making figures that never had figures before, and to me that is a very cool thing to do.
Yeah, a lot of Sunbow cartoon inspired figures, because Sunbow had a lot of interesting characters on screen that weren't from the toy line. So they invented them for the cartoon, and a lot of times for plot details and different characters. Like the G.I. Joe green shirts, that whole concept came from the cartoon because they needed characters to fill scenes.
Yeah.
And well, they're doing a lot of that stuff in the Super 7 line.
I bought 2 just for the heads for customs. So I got the Game Master drone and made a custom out of that, and the Cobra like space shock trooper. I bought one of those.
Yes,
head and
those guys were briefly seen in, I think, Pyramid of Darkness or the Revenge of Cobra.
I think it's Pyramid of Darkness.
Okay, yeah, it was one or the other. They were on screen in the Cobra space station. I think that was it. They're awesome looking. They're armored. They got these sweet helmets, and they never got toys. They never appeared anywhere else.
The Game Master drone is on screen for all of about 2 seconds. If you blink, you'll miss it. I mean, there's a bunch of different drones, but the specific one that's kind of based off the Snow Serpent body, it's on screen for like maybe 2 seconds. If you fart, it's gone. You'll miss it.
Ironically, they have not yet made an actual Games Master figure, but I expect they will at some point.
I don't know. I would like to think so, but who knows, man? They just seem to be all over the place.
This Uzi is a little oversized, technically, for this, but I don't care. That is absolutely a badass looking Uzi sculpt.
Yeah, it is a nice sculpt.
And Uzis are forever connected with Snake Eyes as a character. So anytime Hasbro puts out a figure of Snake Eyes that doesn't have an Uzi, I'm always just like,
what's the point?
Somebody give that bastard an Uzi. Yeah. None of the classified versions have Uzis, but they do have Mac 10s, which are, I think, similar, but still, I like Snake Eyes with an Uzi. So yes, here's the number 21 card in case anybody does happen to want it. I mean, it's got the art from the comic in there, but I opened this one because it's in worse shape than the other one. Because this one I actually got from a store in the audio-visual department, but the other one I bought off the website. So yeah, you can't really tell, but the card was a little anti-flat. yeah, I flattened it out with a book that I put on top of the card for a little bit. So you know what? I needed an excuse to open it. And
There you go.
for a figure that doesn't articulate and is just going to stand there, I'm going to, you know what? He can still fight overkill.
There you go. So let's see, what was the big like reaction? Oh yeah, the Zartan is coming out for the Super 7.
Yeah. Anybody who's listened to us drone on for years knows that Zartan's my favorite. He's not my favorite Cobra. He's not my favorite bad guy in G.I. Joe. He is my favorite all-time bad guy from anything ever. Pop culture, literature, I don't care. Zartan is absolutely the top of my pile of favorite villains, figures, or characters. And Super 7 revealed one that they're going to do a 5-point of articulation Zartan. He looks just like he did in the cartoon. He's got the color changing skin, just like the vintage figure, just like in the cartoon. He's going to turn blue. Holy shit. That's amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very closely. I am picking up. I've already pre-ordered one from that wave as well, and I intend to leave it on the card. And it's the female Cobra Trooper, and she's a redhead.
So you got to think for redheads.
Yeah.
I mean, you married one, so it makes sense.
I'm like female trooper. I mean, come on, that's like right up my alley. I mean,
I was gonna say it's in your. I'm like, it's literally the wheelhouse that you're working in.
Yeah, my Data Viper. I'm working on her unmasked head. So yeah,
it's hysterical. This guy hates sculpting, and he keeps doing figures that he has to sculpt on.
Yeah. I did in my defense, I did this sculpting months ago. I just got back to this particular figure.
But yeah, they're putting Zartan, and I didn't realize until the Full Force Facebook page posted a video of a turnaround, and yeah, he changes color. I'm like, well, that's awesome. Because Brian sent me a text and said, "Are you going to get the Super 7 Zartan?" I'm like,
he did.
Well, he is my favorite bad guy, so probably. And then when I looked at the website, I'm like, oh, he changes color because I like the card art. He's great. You know, that's
card art is nice. I would have probably picked up Firefly, but I didn't like the card art.
Not one of their better ones. I mean, the Super 7 art, fully painted art, like on the vintage, in the style of the fully painted Garrido art from the vintage Joe line, but it's not the original art. It's all new work. It's all new paintings. A lot of it, some of it was done by Adam Riches, you know, one of our comic book or art extraordinaires. He's done a few of them. And it's really impressive. Well, the Zartan one perfectly reflects what he looks like in the cartoon with the blue chest plate and blue thigh pads and everything. With the mask, you know, he's got the mask gimmick.
It fits in.
But I would have picked one up to have one on the card anyways, just to have Zartan, you know, looking at me. But then when Brian texted me, you know, he said, you know, he told me it changes color. I'm like, oh shit. Then I went and I found the video on Full Force. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, now I need 2 of them. One so I can open and have it change color. I hadn't
seen that anywhere that it had changed color. My defense hadn't been looking, but
oh, that's right, yeah, because you said because I went looking for websites that had it. I didn't realize Big Bad Toy Store had it, and then
I didn't see it, but I wasn't looking that closely. I was looking for the female trooper.
Yeah, well, I ended up ordering it through the Super 7 website because that's where I went first. And by the time you said that you had found the red-headed Cobra Trooper on Big Bad Toy Store, I'm like, oh, well, shit. I already had pre-orders through them, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. When I started to do my research real quick after he asked me if I was going to get it, because I hadn't seen the news on it at all. I hadn't seen anything about it. So like, oh, changes color. So that's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna get 2 of them. I've got I've got the Super 7 Major Blood. I opened it. I've got the Super 7 Scarlet, but I did a custom. I took the comic book.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That looked
Scarlet,
nice.
yeah, and I did a head swap with the Super 7 Scarlet head, so it's much better. Super 7, they're expensive, but they fill a niche that that Hasbro wasn't going to fill, and there is controversy. There are haters that don't like the price or don't like the fact that there was no articulation. I mean, I get all that.
I don't. The articulation is a big turnoff for me, but I mean, otherwise, I probably would have more of them. Honestly,
sometimes I don't find the articulation to be a thing that I'm gonna turn away from. Like I'm not gonna reject because it isn't. It is weird to hold a Joe figure in your hand that can't move a lot, but
yeah,
I don't know. I appreciate the itch that they're scratching with those, so I get it. I mean, at least when Snake Eyes stands up without the articulation, it's not gonna fall over.
That's true.
I I don't I don't remember what I was gonna say. Damn it, I distracted myself.
No, I was gonna segue into the classified stuff. At the moment, I'm fairly impressed with Hasbro's distribution on the latest wave of classified figures, which is the Crocmaster, Storm Shadow, Spirit, and Cobra Officer. I have been able to find them in more than one location several times, which is unheard of for me.
I haven't seen them in the store, but where I live in Western New York, I think is a hotbed of reseller and scalper activity. So
see, I'm probably not going to see them too, but I've been able to. I didn't pick up the Crocmaster. I couldn't. I was never. I'm not invested enough in Crocmaster to spend 40 some bucks on the figure.
I pre-ordered him last year when he first went up, or maybe at the beginning of this year. I got him from Big Bad Toy Store a couple weeks ago. He's great. I've never been a Crocmaster fan either.
Yeah, I think it looks really fantastic. I think it looks like an amazing figure. I just can't justify the price.
And it is, but it's what they did with it at the classified scale is really truly amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it also helped me justify the price because my son he loves alligators, crocodiles, monsters, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
He plays with the Fiona figure all the time. That's officially now Crocmaster's pet crocodile. Its name is Fiona. Hasbro named it. So Blake, so I've got Crocmaster up on my desk, and he just takes Fiona. I don't care. I know where it is. But I mean, I would have bought it regardless, but it was like a bonus. The fact that my son, he'll play with the crocodile because it's, even when I was a kid and I had Crocmaster, most of it was like kind of like the creepy mask. I like but I wasn't a fan, but I like the look of him. Crocmaster is one that, as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate him more as kind of one of the weirdos on the Cobra.
That's roster, another one of the ones that I reimagined and did as a custom that I think came out okay. Not my favorite reimagining of a character like that, but I was like, I was on the fence. I was like, you know what? If I see it in the store, I'll make up my mind then, because I figured I'd never see it in the store because the classified distribution.
You can't find them in the store.
JD and I've gotten lucky once when he was here. We got the Baroness bike set. And I found an alley viper and bat in the wild once, and I mean that's been my luck with classified. I never did find Firefly, and I never did find Major Blood. I was able to get those through trades and friends,
I don't have them as far as I'm concerned. Classified Major Blood doesn't exist. And I don't have Firefly, but I like Firefly, but I wasn't that impressed with the classified version.
I can see what your complaints are with it for sure. The Major Blood is fucking amazing, and
it is, and
I'm really impressed with
the
latest wave of classified figures. The Storm Shadow is really cool. The Spirit's amazing, and they did a really. I was on the fence about the Cobra Officer, and since they were all three together, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just get all three of them. And
I did the same thing. I ordered them as a wave, and well, I got them last week or the week before from Big Bad Toy Store. But yeah, they were a wave, so I ordered all three of them. Spirit is very possibly the best Spirit figure they've ever done. Yeah. Storm Shadow is really cool. I'm not the biggest fan of it's okay. I prefer the Arctic Mission one that they did, the Ninja Force sort of deco. I prefer that one, but it's a Joe. It's not even the same version of Storm Shadow. But the Officer, I was so impressed when I took it out of I'm not a fan of the Cobra, the classified infantry figure or the Trooper, because there's two.
I got the Trooper, but I was like, it's kind of left me flat.
Yeah, there's an infantry and there's a Trooper. One of them was a Target exclusive. They're both the same figure, just slightly different colors. Yeah. I don't know which is which. Whichever one I had the Target one.
The Trooper is the Target exclusive, so I have the infantry because I got it off of Amazon.
Okay, yeah, because I got the one from Target, but honestly, I'm not a fan. I don't like it as a Trooper update. It's too much going on with it. I did end up using it for a custom. I made a classified style Marauder Task Force Blue Trooper with it, which is cool. But yeah, not a fan of it as a Cobra Trooper or whatever.
And so honestly, one of my favorite figures it's really hard for me to say this because I was not a supporter of the 6-inch figures at all, but one of my all-time favorite figures period is that 6-inch Alley Viper, because the Alley Viper is probably top 1 or 2 of my all-time favorite G.I. Joe figures ever. And I need one more figure, and I have every version of the Alley Viper they've ever put out. I need the Alley Viper that came with that Rage, in the Pursuit.
Yeah, you even have the really shitty Alley Vipers from the Valor versus Venom line, where they had torsos that were squat, and they had skinny legs that were about this long.
Alley Viper, they called those Alley Viper 2s. There's a red and a blue one. I have both of them.
Yeah, they were terrible.
What really pisses me off is I had that, and it's actually Alley Viper Officer version 1. I had that figure at one time, and I customized it.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a classified Officer. I'm not really a fan of Troopers at the scale. I have a classified Alley Viper. It's fine. I like it. It's fine.
I customized.
I'm not.
So to me, for me to do a 6-inch custom is huge.
Yeah, that does show you how much you actually liked it.
Because
I have an Alley, but when
6-inch figures ever, and I've probably done 300 or 400 custom figures at this point in time, and I've done 2 6-inch figures. And when I posted Alley Viper, I got a flood of requests for commissions for 6-inch. And I'm like, nope, not doing it.
Are you kidding me? I've almost requested you make me one, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna make it customized to 6-inch.
Nope. Nobody. I did that one, and that's it.
Well, I mean, I like the Alley Viper. It's cool, but at this scale, Troopers, I've seen pictures of the squads and the armies people have, but I'm like, they're impractical at that size but when I pulled the Officer out and I looked at all the gear and the figure itself, I'm like, I don't care if the package says it's an officer. It does everything right that I didn't think the trooper figure did. It's simplified,
Yes.
but it's a neat update to the original Army Builder Cobras.
Yes.
So I'm a rebel. So I have a second one coming. Brian picked me up a second one because I'm not.
You should have it Monday. Should be there Monday.
Good. So I'll have 2 Cobra officers. I'm going to use them as troopers because they're just that good. It did everything right that I didn't think the trooper did. So, I mean, it's great. I absolutely love it. I was always on board with the classified stuff. I don't care about scale. I don't care.
I'm a scale fanatic.
Yeah, I'll buy any toy that I like. If I like it, I'll buy it regardless of format or scale or line. I don't care. Whatever. I'll just buy whatever.
The only other thing that I buy in 6-inch scale is obviously Iron Man.
Yeah. Well, you are the Iron Horse.
Just about every Iron Man figure in 6. There was one that I came in a big set and I couldn't afford it at the time, and I haven't been able to get that one yet. But otherwise, I think I have just about every 6-inch Iron Man figure that I've made.
Yeah, I've got some of the 6-inch Star Wars figures. I've got some of the Marvel Legends stuff, some of the classified stuff. I'm not a completist. I just buy whatever. I really like what they're doing with the classified stuff. They've knocked it out of the park. They figured out.
To me,
I feel like in most cases, I feel like they've knocked it out of the park.
So, like the figures that are coming up here, the next wave that's supposed to come up. Number one, I'm not a fan of Zorana. I had the figure as a kid. She didn't do anything for me. She's never done anything for me.
I love Zorana.
The classified figure looks nice, but I'm not going to get it.
I'll buy it because it's phenomenal. I've always been a Zorana fan, but I'm annoyed at one thing.
Yeah,
there's no Xandar. There's no Xandar
yet.
I hate
yet
in the toy line.
Yet
Xandar and Zorana. What?
Yet. I bet
they yet.
I bet they'll do Xandar.
I'm not saying they won't. I'm not saying they won't put out a Xandar. I'm annoyed that he's not already announced. In the original toy line. Xandar has a pink scarf around his neck. Zorana has a pink shirt on that's ripped at the top, and you can tell around his neck, the scarf he's wearing is the top of her shirt. They're twins. All right, so obviously,
I never noticed that.
In my head, yeah, they're definitely you. When you take a close look, yeah, you can tell they're.
I had both of those figures as a kid, and I never noticed that before.
Well, I'm a nerd. Nice to meet you.
So am I. I mean, hello.
Well, they're the younger twin siblings of Zartan. And on Xandar's file card,
where you're going with this.
Yes. On Xandar's file card, it mentions that of the 3 siblings, he's the one that's forgotten and often overlooked. And that has played out so
that in the comic books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he showed up in the comic books early and then he disappeared.
Buzzer sat on him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there is a joke. It's written right into the comic book that Buzzer didn't see him there. He does disappear over time in the comic. He just doesn't show up anymore. While Zorana sticks around as a member of the Cobra hierarchy, she's a
foil for the Baroness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she is mostly a foil for the Baroness. Yeah, they get on each other's nerves. They cat fight. But Devil's Due brought both of them back when they resurrected the Joe comic line, and Xandar came along with it, and eventually he fell away again. Zorana has had double the number of figures in the toy line that that Xandar has. He's only ever had like 2 figures, and I think Zorana's had 6.
Half a dozen, at least.
But yeah, so I'm not saying that they won't do Xandar in the classified line. I think eventually they will, because Emily, the PR person for G.I. Joe, she's a big fan of Xandar. So I would imagine if they're doing Zorana as generally, I imagine that Xandar he'll probably be an exclusive, which is fine. I don't care. As long as they make one, I really don't care. But it just annoys me that they haven't done one already. But I'm gonna get Zorana. She is phenomenal looking. And if they can do Zartan even half that good looking, or if they can do Xandar even half as well as they've done Zartan and Zorana, dude, I'm gonna be elated. And even if I have to wait a couple, I don't care. But
so the rest of the wave, I'm not. Yeah, I could care less about Zorana. The Dusty, I am not impressed with.
I'm not impressed with Dusty. Dusty first looks like he is the first one that I found to be infinitely skippable.
Yeah,
he is boring. I've never been the biggest fan of Dusty. He's pretty nondescript as he's supposed to be as a desert trooper. But in particular, I find the classified version to be really bland.
Yes.
The camouflage is really inconsistent on the figure to the point where there's parts of the figure that just don't have any camouflage. His knees don't have camouflage. He doesn't have knee pads sculpted, but his knees do not have any camo on them. Part of the upper half of his torso has no camo on it. I can imagine the back of the figure is probably, and I don't.
Oh, good damn it.
Some people are hung up on the fact that he doesn't have the fabric on his helmet like the vintage figure. I'm hung up on the fact that it's a boring damn figure.
Yeah, agreed.
The camo's inconsistent, which bugs me, but honestly, I prefer Dusty version 3, the one with the beret, where he was more. It's again not a Dusty fan. It's not my favorite.
Yeah,
but I prefer it. But like the Crimson Guard is phenomenal. I'll probably
pulled the
get
trigger
one.
on that one on a pre-order for that last week.
I haven't pre-ordered it, but I will at some point. I mean, I will get one at some point. But it's a general release. So if I don't get it from a store, I think somebody else will be able to help me because it's a general release, not exclusive. It'll be around. But I don't need the army build it, but I'll get one. I'm not the biggest fan of the CG, the really Crimson Guard, but
I just made a custom female one.
Yeah, what they've done with the classified, it's phenomenal. I don't need the retro Walmart version. Oh yeah, I should mention. I find it funny that the cardstock you use for your custom cards is 3 times thicker than those shitty retro cards that they're using for the Walmart exclusive line. I open most of what I buy, so I didn't care that the packages all came bent up and destroyed. I was going to open them anyways, but man, my gung-ho package, like the card was folded in half on top of the bubble. It was terrible. It made me so glad that I wasn't a carded collector because I could see why people.
I've seen people complaining. I really feel for them. I mean, because
and I do too, because if you're buying them to display because of the retro card art and the presentation, I can see why they're pissed.
Which is to me the only reason to, although the figures are slightly redecoed, but to me the card art is the only reason to buy that.
I have them all
damaged. Then what's the point?
I have all 4 of them.
That being said, I will. Somebody put this fucking splinter into my brain that's going to bother me till the end of time. The classified retro Storm Shadow has forearms that are like the version 1 figure than the current release, which is like, God damn it, now I need a retro
Yeah. He's got the
Wraps.
arm wraps, just like the original. Whereas,
And I'm like, God damn it! Now I need that Storm Shadow.
yeah, whereas the general release version, yeah, he's got like arm pads for the bow and arrow for the archery, I guess, and he's got gloves on. Where the retro Storm Shadow doesn't. Yeah, he's got the arm wraps and the bare hands, just like version 1. I don't care.
I do.
I like the version they've currently got out.
I like it. It's just like now I want one.
I
want the retro ones.
Well, okay. I got retro Destro because the first, not because of the colors or anything, it's just the very first classified Destro. I used it for a custom that didn't quite work out. So I basically needed to replace it, and it was cheaper and easier to get one of the retro Walmart versions than it was to go back and just buy first classified version again.
Wow.
I've got the Pimp Daddy repaint, but that is not the same thing.
I've been
that does not fill
getting that one. I kind of want it, but I don't know.
I mean, I've got it and it's great, but I mean, as it is, but it's not Destro for the collection. It's not Destro to represent the character.
Yeah, but I've got both of the San Diego Comic-Con versions of the Pimp Daddy Destro. I mean, and I just made I made a Pimp Daddy Destro custom recently too. So
yeah, you did, and it's really skeezy. I like it.
He needs like a coffee cup and a like morning newspaper to go with him, but I didn't have anything, so
he does need a newspaper. It reminds me of Tony Soprano standing out in front of the house reading the paper in his bathrobe.
Yeah.
I've got Destro because I had to replace my other classified version. It was just easier to get it. I've got
Baroness. Out of curiosity, what did you customize that didn't turn out?
I was trying to make my penchant for obscure characters. I was trying to make I know what it was I was gonna try to do like an Iron Grenadiers version. It didn't work.
Why? What happened?
Once the collar came off and I realized he had this giant divot in the torso and everything, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta fill all that in. I gotta do all this sculpting. And at the time I was just like, nope.
Okay.
And I don't have any of those parts now. I don't know, but so, and I got the Baroness. She's not that much different than the version that came with the bike, but again,
I saw it. I almost picked out. I saw the Baroness and I saw Lady J. Almost got the Baroness, but I'm like, that was when I found the other three. When I found Spirit, Storm Shadow, and Officer, I'm like, I don't really want to buy 4 figures right now. So
I'm definitely never going to find the retro ones in the store, but I got the Baroness just because at the time I pre-ordered her and Lady J at the same time, and it was only like $5 more expensive to get her along with Lady J with combined shipping than it would have been to just buy Lady J and pay the shipping on top.
Yeah.
But I mean, as it is, she's a cool figure. She's not that different from the Cobra.
Oh yeah, no, I like the classified Baroness. I thought they did a fantastic job.
Well, me too. And the retro version, it's not that much different, but I don't care. I like it. Baroness can change her outfit to different shades of black if she wants to. That's cool.
I just did a Baroness too, and she's not black at all.
But I don't, and of course I got Lady J because Lady J is one of my favorite Joes. Of course I was going to get that one. I like the paint job on it.
I knew you were going to get that figure. I mean, that's a question to me.
Of all of the retro figures, even if I had decided to get none of them, I still would have bought Lady J because it's Lady J. She's in my top 5 favorite Joes.
Yeah.
And I got Gung Ho because, first of all, I'm a Gung Ho fan. And while I like the first classified version, this one is just almost all new parts. And there is something magical about that first version of Gung Ho that is impractical and unrealistic as it is. It's iconic. and I like
Yeah,
it,
it's
and you're not a
iconic.
gung ho
I will
fan.
give you that.
I mean, I get it. You don't like gung ho. You didn't like the original figure. I did, and I like the first classified version, but now I can see it as a different character, I guess, or whatever. Maybe it's just a different outfit for gung ho. I don't care. This one has the right mustache, and he doesn't have the mohawk on his head. He's bald like he should be. So, all right, maybe it's just, but I love the retro stuff, but like, I don't need Storm Shadow. And as much as I kind of want Zartan, I've got the Master of Disguise version coming in the mail.
I was going to
That's
ask
the
if you
only.
got that yet.
Well, it's shipping.
So I'm on my way to Denver, and JD texts me and says, "I need to be enabled." He says he says I found the San Diego Con Masters of Disguise Zartan figure. He says, should I get it? He told me how much it was, and we won't go into how much it was. He's like, I really can't afford it, but I really want it. And I'm like, dude, you called me to enable you? Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to fucking enable you.
Well,
I'm like, fucking pull the trigger on that bitch right now, because in 5 years, you're never going to be able to get one for a fraction of what you paid for it now.
My
Plus, your favorite character.
Was, this is yeah. Basically, my exact text was, I found a deal on eBay for the Master of Disguise Deluxe Zartan, but it's more than I can afford. I need a second opinion. And then my second text was, I just asked the person that I know is going to enable me, but whatever. So he's like, pull the trigger.
Right, so yeah, we're back to like the basic Zoom account. So it's going to time out every 40 minutes, and I'm going to chop this all together in the end. So anyway, I enabled JD, and I thought, it's time that JD return that favor. I see that they have the Alley Viper on Amazon for retail price. Do I need another Alley Viper? I need another.
How many do you have? Not counting one that you customize. How many do you have?
One.
Yes, you need another one.
All right, see, there you go. So purchase.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's like I needed the second Cobra officer to be a trooper. Well, yeah, you need another Alley Viper. I don't need a second Alley Viper, but you do.
So turnabout fair play. I have a new classified Alley Viper heading my way.
They actually have it at retail. Wow.
Like
wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because normally it's 32, and I'm like, I'm not spending $32 on an Alley Viper that I already have. Ooh, it's retail price. Ooh, well, okay, let's talk.
Yeah, exactly. And what are the chances you'll find another one in the store? Not that high.
None, because I won't go to. Hi, Isabella. What time is it, Izzy? It is 5 o'clock. It's 10 till 5. It is not even close to your dinner time. You can fuck right off, Isabella. Because I'm fucking right off, buddy. None, because the Target that's close to me, they have torn the fuck out of it, remodeling it, and I refuse to go there till they're done, because it's painful to even just be near that store, let alone inside it.
Yeah, the Alley Viper I found it on a fluke at Target, because I didn't pre-order it because, well, it was cool looking from the pictures, but I didn't find it essential. And I like the original Alley Viper, and it's a cool figure.
It's an amazing figure.
At some point, with all the love that the Alley Viper consistently got on the internet, I got burnt out on the orange and blue Alley Vipers. And I kind of prefer some of the repaints they did later. But if they happen to do any cool repaints, like in blue, or like even like a bright blue, or just something interesting compared to what they've done for the repaints over the years,
yeah,
I probably will get 2 of them. But
let's talk about the other specialty Viper that was recently announced for the classified line.
The one that I texted you, and I'm like, hey, they're granting one of your wishes.
Yeah, I was on duty. I was at work when you texted him like, "Oh, hang on a sec, I got to see what this is all about." And it's the Range Viper. Ooh, boys.
Um,
I did not like the Range Viper as a kid. I did not have the figure. I didn't see any point in it. But as an adult, when it wasn't the Joe versus Cobra, wasn't Valor versus Venom. When did that was DTC? When they did
DTC, yeah.
DTC Range Viper, I'm like, ooh, okay, I like this. So then I started going back and reading what the Range Viper was, and I'm like, oh, wow, now I really dig this. And yeah, now I have every version of the Range Viper, and I have made half a dozen different Range Viper customs at least, probably.
At least. Well, yeah, because you've not rewritten, but you've expanded on the role that the Alley
I came up
Viper,
with my own,
that the Range
my
Vipers.
own Range Viper concept, and that was the Range Viper Omega, and that's the last Range Viper from that's still alive from any graduating class of Range Viper school.
And
I've done
you
3 or 4 of those, and then I did a female Range Viper, and then back during COVID lockdown when Marauder was doing the weekly giveaways, I took whatever figure that was that week and made a Range Viper out of that. So hang on a sec here. What are we doing here?
what? Oh, I'm just switching rooms.
Oh.
The kid wants to cook, so I was taking up the kitchen. And here's my ghetto back room with my editor taped over the windows because
Nice.
it's a long story. It's dumb. But
so yeah, I've got about half a dozen different Range Viper customs. So I am Izzy. Would you shut up? It is 5 o'clock. You have another hour till dinner. So I am extremely looking forward to having. And then I did a Range Viper for my Flaming Moth set.
I even made a Range Viper custom for you
Alice
for a challenge.
Alice is chasing her tail in the background there.
I see that. Hi, Alice. Goofy dog. I love that dog.
She's gone.
Oh, she's gone.
She's gonna go get something for me to throw.
But dude, I even made a Range Viper for you a couple years ago.
Yes.
I because Hasbro was doing some kind of live stream event, and I was on Facebook, and the Full Force posted that they had just announced Big Ben and the Range Viper for the classified line. And I reread it, and I'm like, holy shit, they actually did. So, well, because Brian's been saying for a long time he wants specialty Vipers in the classified line.
Yeah.
Me, I'll take it. I just want to see what they're going to put out in the classified line. I don't have any, when it comes to troopers, I don't have any specific requests. I do for characters, most of which they won't make. But
even they're making one of mine too, because torpedoes get made. So I am ecstatic that because Torpedo was my first Joe.
Yeah, I mean, Torpedo's kind of necessary. Some of my requests aren't. But I don't. But yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, of all things, the Range Viper. So I texted Brian and I'm like, dude, they granted one of your wishes. He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, just read it to believe it. Honestly, the only way they could have picked a specialty Viper you would have been more excited about is if they would have said a Night Viper, which I am certain at some point they will probably do a classified Night Viper.
I sure hope so, man.
Because Night Viper is one of those, along with the Range Viper and the Alley Viper, that people just generally like. They like army building them. They've got a lot of love online, and they always have.
Yes.
Along with the Vipers, the Techno Vipers, the Televipers, which they've also announced they're doing.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they again just announced no art, no pictures, but yeah, they did say that they're going to do a Televiper with a Trouble Bubble.
You want to
Well,
split
because
that?
in the original box art for the Trouble Bubble or the Cobra Flight Pod, it's a Televiper piloting it.
Yes, I'm
So
aware of
they're
that.
putting out.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to split that? I don't want the Trouble Bubble.
No, because I want a Televiper too. Damn it.
Damn.
Although no, well, I'll split one. I'll get two because you know what? As much as I don't need a lot of vehicles, I do like a Trouble Bubble and I do like a Ram Cycle, both of which they've done.
I have no love for the Trouble Bubble. I don't think. Did I have that as a kid? I don't remember if I had that as a kid.
I didn't have one as a kid. I always wanted one.
I think I did, but I never used it. If I did, it was always like in the context of the opening sequence of the cartoon where Cobra Commander gets in it and then gets blown up. So, it was always at the end of my G.I. Joe battle when Cobra was like, okay, we're done. We're surrendering. Cobra Commander's trying to escape. So he gets in the Trouble Bubble and G.I. Joe shoots it down. And that's
the Trouble Bubble was in the Sunbow cartoon a lot. At some point, the Crimson Twins fly them. Dr. Mindbender flies one.
I've got the 25th version right here.
Yeah, and I have a 25th version, but I never had a Trouble Bubble when I was a kid. I always wanted one, but I never had one.
Missing a rocket and it's missing the engines. I don't know where those went.
The first time I ever owned a Trouble Bubble was in the 1997 Toys R Us line, where they had a Viper in red with Flight Pod. So that was the first time I ever had one. And I do like the idea of a classified version because it's such a goofy little thing that I want to see. I'd like to see a quad glider.
I know
where the Trouble Bubble. What's up?
That engine, I think I know where it went. I think I used that in maybe not. I was gonna say I think I used that in my Deep Sea Iron Man figure, but custom, but yeah, I think that's where that engine went. I think I put that with my Deep Sea Iron Man figure.
That is not remotely surprising to me. So I mean, a classified Trouble Bubble. All right, that's cool. I
don't really need classified scale vehicles though.
Well,
I got the Baroness cycle because it came with the Baroness, and the cycles are actually really cool. And it's very reminiscent of the Spawn Nitro Riders, which I am a huge fan of and have made 2 customs, and I'm working on a 3rd.
I bought the coil bike with the Baroness to get the Baroness. I did end up, I think I ended up sending the bike to somebody online who wanted an extra one for a custom, and they couldn't get that set anymore. So I just sent him the bike but I do have a Ram cycle, and I am going to get the Tiger Force Ram with Duke. The Ram is one of my favorite Joe vehicles, the early stuff, but I don't need classified scale vehicles, but I'll take a Ram cycle and a Trouble Bubble. You know what? There's an elephant in the room that we should probably discuss. Well, okay. By elephant in the room, I mean there's a HISS tank that neither of us backed for the Haslab.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I didn't back it for 2 very simple reasons. First of all, this is the wrong time of the year for me to have to send $300 for something like that. After the O-ring Kickstarters they've done, and the couch I had to buy last month, and just generally other bills that I didn't used to have to take care of that I do now.
Yeah.
This is simply the wrong time of the year if it was one of those things where if they had announced that there would be a classified like 6 months, like 3-4 months ago, if they had announced that there would be one, I could have squirreled some money away. And even if they had revealed later that it was going to be a Haslab, I would have put some money away for it.
Yeah.
But they announced it the day before the Haslab went live.
Yeah.
And there was other stuff that I had already gotten. So I could, plus the second day of the Haslab, the wildly successful Haslab campaign they did.
Yeah, I'm
Emily
really with how well that did.
The second day of it, Emily posted on Instagram a comparison of the gray prototype classified his tank sitting on maybe her kitchen counter or somebody's kitchen counter next to a standard original his tank. I swear to God, the classified his tank is probably a third the size of the damn couch that I just bought. Like the ottoman for the couch I just bought, it's like 3/4 the size of that damn thing.
Yeah.
There is simply no place that I have in this house to set up a classified his tank. And don't think it doesn't hurt, because it does. Because the his tank is my absolute favorite Cobra vehicle ever. I have, in the 3 3/4 inch or the 4-inch scale, I have nearly every major variation on the his tank that Hasbro's ever put out.
Which reminds me, and you and I have talked about this, but I finally got a Hiss 2.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. I mean, the Hiss 2 is fantastic. But yeah, I have a Hiss 2. I have a Hiss 5. I have the Hiss 3, the original with Rip It. I have the new Hiss 3 that they put out, the retro one that they put out last year. I have, the Hiss 5 with the stupid giant head with the springy thing from the Valley.
I kind of like that, actually.
Well, it's dumb as shit, but I have it.
I don't have one of those, but I like it.
But I have it. It's dumb as shit, but I have it.
I think it's cool.
I have a custom.
I would love to have one to work on as a custom, but I never fucking finished vehicle custom, so I never got one.
It's funny because James today in one of the Joe groups, the 95 to 2006 Joe group, he made it like a spotlight post for the Hiss 5, and I almost responded with, I have one because it's a Hiss tank, but that's the end of my opinion on it, but whatever. I didn't. But it hurts that I couldn't back the Haslab Hiss tank. But between the financialness, the finance, oh yeah, also classified Zartan, that whole thing. But it hurts that I couldn't back it financially. But it also hurts because at that scale, it's impractical. There's no place for me to put it.
See, I have the room. I just don't have the interest. I mean, I had the Hiss when I was a kid, the first one. I skipped the second one. I have the Hiss 2 now. I absolutely love it. I have 2 of the San Diego Comic-Con Shockwave Hiss tanks. I have the Arctic Hiss, and I have probably 3 or 4 of the 20 different versions of the 25th anniversary one. So I mean, it's not my favorite, but I do like the Hiss tank. But yeah, $300. I mean, as far as crowdfunding stuff goes, I think I have 5 outstanding crowdfunding projects right now. I'm like, I can't, and I just had paid for the longbow, because I went all in on the longbow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, me too.
We had as a guest on the show last year. I went all in on that, and I just paid for that. And
yeah, I did.
Saw it was gonna be $300, and I'm like, I can't. I've got the Airwolf coming at some point in time. I backed the Sky Striker, the Haslab Sky Striker. I backed the Marauder Vietnam Kickstarter. I backed the Longbow O-ring, and it seems like I've got another one that I can't even think about.
The Robo Skull.
That Robo Skull. That's it.
Fuck do you forget the Robo
I don't,
Skull?
because I've got so many fucking projects outstanding that it's like I can't even keep track of them anymore.
But of all of those things, how is the Robo Skull the one that you forget?
It'll be
it's pretty memorable.
It'll be the Marauder Vietnam one next week.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You'll forget one, but yeah, because the Marauder. See, that's Brian's thing is he wants to see some of the stuff that he's back. I don't care. I have no problem waiting. I don't mind waiting another year for the Marauder Vietnam stuff. I don't mind waiting another year for the call sign Longbow, which I went all in on. Waiting another year for the Robo Skull, which is amazing. I also backed some of the Operation Recall stuff. I couldn't do all in on that too.
I backed that one too, so that's 6.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm in for 6.
I backed it for 1 or 2 figures.
Yeah, I'm in. I think I'm in for 6 of them, depending on which one's unlocked, and all the ones that I really wanted did unlock. So I don't mind waiting for all this shit to show up. I don't care. If some of them get delayed and it's a year and a half out, I don't care. And
7,
I know
because the Hell Screamer. 7, because the Hell Screamer is still outstanding.
Well, yeah, but I didn't back that. So, but after waiting
a couple figures, but I backed that one too.
Well,
so technically, I have 7 outstanding, and I have a little bit of news about that, but I can't share it right now.
Well, I didn't back the Hell Screamers thing. It seemed too good to be true. But
we'll see.
I did back, well, at the same time, I did back the Eagle Force stuff. And through a ridiculous amount of delays,
I still have those.
It took almost 4 years to get those out, but they finally did. And now they're on a roll. They're absolutely on a roll.
I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing. The Eagle Force, I can't wait for some of the figures to come out. I've got so many ideas for customs for some of those figures. It's like, oh man, I cannot fucking wait for some of those figures.
I have two waves of Eagle Force pre-ordered through Big Bad Toy Store. I've got 2 of those complete waves pre-ordered. So again, I don't mind waiting for this shit. I'll get it eventually. I'm not worried about it. And it's just after all of
I didn't back the Kickstarter for it, but I have pre-ordered some of the Valveverse 6-inch stuff.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't gotten any of that stuff. I will probably
yet either,
at some point.
But the stuff that they put up a couple of days ago, I'm like, okay, you got me. I need one of those.
Yeah, some of those are great. And some of them will fit perfectly in my Joverse that I have in my head. I can't get everything, and I just at some point maybe, but
yeah,
so
I'm picking
as much as it.
Sure. I think I pre-ordered 3 figures and then one of the accessory sets.
I don't. Oh, well, plus I made an order from Gridiron. I got a couple things coming. But
I like their stuff. Gridiron's good stuff. I use that.
They do amazing stuff.
I use that mask for for my Alley Viper version too.
Yeah, well, that's why you sent me the minigun for it, because you didn't need it. Because I remember you sent me a text and you said you need a Gridiron minigun, and I'm like, well, yes. I'm like, there's no way I don't need. What are you doing, Cat? Hey, knock it up. How? Stop it.
Just being an asshole. That's what cats do.
She's great. But knock it. Don't wait for me to turn around before you start doing it again. I'm still gonna hear it. Damn pets. Anyways, so yeah,
Alice is still down there on the floor.
But So it hurts.
Yeah, she's down there.
Hi, Alice, silly puppy.
She's my
She's
little
not a puppy,
shadow.
but and Dora, why do you wait until I'm doing a recording to do that? She doesn't do that otherwise when I'm sitting back here. Hello. Are you done now? Are you bored?
Oh, really.
Okay. Yeah, now she's just looking at me like, oh, I guess you're gonna keep paying attention. Yes. But so as much as it hurts, I could, damn it, Pandora. She waits until I start talking again.
Yeah.
But I love the Haslab hiss. It's amazing. It's
It is an
impractical.
amazing piece of plastic, and it's not practical for me. I have the room for it. I don't have the cash, and I don't have the desire for it.
Yeah, I don't. Of all the vehicles they could have done, if I could have possibly swung it, I would have, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Plus, again, where would I put it? I don't know. I have a lot of shit that I already don't have a place for. I don't need that too. But a couple of ram cycles and a couple of trouble bubbles, I could do that. But yeah, because I do have Duke with the Tiger Force Duke with the Tiger Force Ram. I do have that pre-ordered.
Was that a Target exclusive?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all the classified Tiger Force Target exclusives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I saw Tiger Force and it immediately turned off to it.
I've got Duke pre-ordered because that's my favorite version of Duke. Not my favorite sculpt, but it's my favorite color scheme for Duke ever.
Yeah.
So I'm immediately in. Tiger Force, I'm picky and choosy with anyways. But of all things,
yeah, and
Force,
I like harp on bag on Tiger Force, but I shouldn't because I've done 2 Tiger Force customs. I did the Outback, which I absolutely love that color scheme, that everything about that. And then I did the Tiger Force Beachhead. Was, I think it was a exclusive that they did, but I loved the color scheme, and I had the parts laying around, so I did a custom of that.
I've never been a Tiger Force enthusiast.
No.
But see, even when I was a kid, I had a Tiger Fly. I had a couple of the Tiger Force vehicles, but I never used them as a dedicated unit. They were always just part of my Joes. Like at the time, I didn't have a Duke anymore, so that became my default Duke. But I happen to love the color scheme. That particular weird color combination fucking works for me, and it always has. And as soon as we saw the very first classified figures, I remember seeing a Photoshop that I think Chris from the Full Force did of the very first, the original classified Duke that he Photoshopped in the Tiger Force colors. I'm like, I swear to God, if they ever do it, I'm ordering it or I'm buying it.
Yeah.
And they did. So, and it comes with a Tiger Force Ram, which didn't exist in Tiger Force originally.
Yeah, right.
But I don't give a shit because they're not doing the Tiger Paw because it was a Cobra Ferret repaint. They're not going to tool up a Cobra Ferret just for an exclusive. So it's
I don't know. I could see that, and then
well, they might. No, I'm not saying that they won't, but I'm saying for this they're not going to. But what's going to
Jesus Christ?
But the classified Ram is the next best thing. I'm still gonna call it the Tiger Paw. I don't care because I never had a Tiger Paw when I was a kid. I had the Tiger Fly and the Tiger Shark, which was the moccasin repaint. But those were the only Tiger Force I had. Those were the only vehicles. But I've got Duke pre-ordered because it's my favorite color scheme for Duke.
I do have the Outback pre-ordered.
Well, I have Outback pre-ordered because holy shit. Yeah, I have the original figure, the Euro Tiger Force. I have that
I'm
figure.
super jealous of
Um,
that.
I bought it years ago, probably 10 years ago. I found it. There was a deal for it on eBay. It wasn't the secondary market isn't what it was. And I thought,
Right.
yeah, it was quite the score, but yeah, I've got that. But there's something, there's a testament to how cool that figure is that that Hasbro decided that the first classified Outback was going to be an exclusive for Tiger Force, and then they're going to do the repaint in the original color
Right.
scheme later. But of all versions of Outback, I like that one the best. So I've got that one pre-ordered. I almost pre-ordered Rakondo, but I didn't. Um, I'm hoping to find one, or I'm hoping somebody can get me one. But
That one I'm gonna wait
I
for the original deco one. I have no desire to have the Tiger Force version.
I I much like Duke, Rakondo is one that I prefer the Tiger Force version. um, Nothing wrong with the original. He's a jungle fighter wearing khakis. It makes sense, you know,
Yeah.
khakis, safari. That's cool. It's just I I always found that one to be interesting, but I had one because I had the Tiger Fly. They didn't have the mold for Wild Bill anymore.
Ah,
So the next best thing was Rakondo. So they repainted Rakondo in probably the same color scheme they would have used for Wild Bill. So I kind of have a soft spot for that one,
fair enough.
but I ordered it, or I didn't order it, but I wanted to simply because that Rakondo has the most glorious mustache I have ever seen on a toy.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, you got the curly you know,
Handlebar mustache.
yeah, that is phenomenal. But yeah, I just didn't pre-order it. I love it, but maybe not enough.
Yeah,
But
there's no way. Not a chance. I will wait till they do the original deco, and then I will probably pick up that one.
yeah, I can say that one that I'd rather have the Tiger Force version. But um, like Bazooka, fuck Bazooka. I hate him in every color scheme. Fuck
Yeah.
that guy.
Yep.
That character sucks. I
I will argue that I like the Battle Corps bazooka a lot.
no, but the Battle Corps Bazooka is cool, but they're never going to make that classified. I feel like you and
No,
I and a
yeah,
handful
I
of other
agree. I'm
people.
just saying you're just saying every form of bazooka, and I'm gonna argue and saying I like the Battle Corps bazooka.
Well, no, I like the Battle Corps version, but the only
And
version
I think
people
you
ever
have my
remember.
custom set, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I'm a proud owner of it. But no, the only version of Bazooka they'll ever update is the football version, and I mean, fuck that version. Fuck it. I hate it. I Hey, puppy's back.
Hi,
I think
Isabella.
she thinks it's I think she thinks it's dinner time. She doesn't know it's
521.
only
You know
been
what
20
happens at
minutes.
521? Nothing happens at 521. Go away.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't know it's only been 20 minutes.
She does. Actually, she can tell time.
All right, well, that's talent.
So
But
talk about esoteric characters.
I fucking love that. That's glorious. You're gonna send that to me, right? Okay, thanks. Um, um, I I love Cobra Black Star. That's amazing. The and I like your custom where it is right now much better than the shitty version I made earlier this year.
That's just the base coat. We need to do wash next. So
Yeah, I know, but I like your parts and everything else better. Mine, that's one of those customs where I did it and I thought it was kind of cool till I posted the pictures. I'm like, wow, I really fucking hate that custom.
I liked your
Um,
custom. I saw that. I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that. So, um, and for me, this is a weird one because everything except the head is Fortnite. I am not a big Fortnite fan. I am using a Fortnite figure for the commission that I am doing, and I had to buy a second one because it's a two-figure thing, which I will explain in the future. Hopefully in a couple weeks, I can reveal what I'm doing and who I'm doing it for. I forgot where I was going with that. But so yeah, I had a bunch of spare parts laying around, and I was looking at the torso. I'm like, that kind of looks like that would really work well for a Cobra Black Star. So I started
It really
piecing it
does.
together, and I had the head that left over from the figure I bought to make your version 2 Night Creeper custom.
Yeah.
And I put that on there, and JD's like, head doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't work.
I feel like that head doesn't look like a helmet. It's not bulbous enough. It's a robot head. No, it's not a robot head in the toy line, but it should be a robot head.
Yes.
It doesn't look like a space helmet.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree with that. So yeah, a lot of I do post work in progress pictures on my Facebook account of my customs that I do, but even before then, JD sees the stuff and is like, no, that sucks, or no, that's pretty good. So yeah, I sent him the picture, and he's like, nah, head doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, you're right, it doesn't. So luckily, I had another head, cast head, that I think came from another one of our guests. And
Edward Aaron.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy does good cast work.
Yes, he does. And he's helping me with the commission that I'm working on right now.
Ooh, nice.
So so yeah, I put that head on there, and I'm like, how about this? And JD's like, yeah, it's better. So, and yeah, I think it actually works really well.
Cobra Black Star is a character I've never had. I've never owned it.
I haven't either.
But well, when I was on the Neon 90s podcast with Chad and James, they asked me Chad asked, who's your favorite 90s Joe or Cobra? Favorite 90s Cobra. And I said, you mean figure or character? Because they're not the same thing. He said, well, both. So I said, well, figure, Metalhead version 2. But I said, character is Cobra Black Star, which I've never owned the figure. And at the prices it goes for, I might never.
Yeah, but they're really expensive. I was surprised to see that. I looked it up today.
And see, that's not one of those post-COVID secondary market, it's really expensive things. That's one of those, it has always been expensive on the secondary. Or at least for the 5 or 6 years since I've been looking for one, it's always been expensive.
Huh, but okay, I figured it was just recently. I was gonna guess that 5 years ago you couldn't give one of these away.
Oh no, that one's always been maybe not as high priced as it is now, but yeah, it's always been pretty. Oh, dude, we're gonna start one more round of the thing.
So yeah, I was working on this thing today, and I'm like, maybe I need a Cobra Black Star. So I got on eBay and started looking at the prices, and then I'm like, maybe I don't need a Cobra Black Star right now.
No. It's got an awesome file card that makes it sound like it's ambiguous because they could be troopers or pilot troopers.
Yes.
Or it's kind of written as if maybe there's a guy named he's a representative of the Cobra of the Black Star Empire that's working with Cobra. It's very ambiguous. I like the idea that he's an alien pilot.
Right.
That when Cobra was in space during the whole Star Brigade thing, because there's the lunatics aliens.
Yes.
And then I like the idea that Black Star was from a different set of aliens who made a deal with Cobra, and he's working for them, but we don't know what he looks like under there. And it's the amount of potential that character has to be expanded on.
Yeah.
That he really appeals to me. So favorite 90s bad guy. There were a bunch of them, but I love the Cobra Black Star, but I don't love the prices of that figure, which is
No,
why I made a semi-shitty custom of my own, and I put an alien head underneath it.
I know, and that's like I thought about doing that. I'm like, number one, I don't think I've got a head that I like to use, and number two, I was like, I don't really want to rip JD off either.
um, hey, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I don't care if you rip it off. You can probably rip it off and do much better because mine was semi-shitty.
Oh, I liked it.
But
There's elements about it that I'm. Well, you don't see too many Black Star customs to begin with.
no.
There are a couple out there, and they're not particularly impressive. Then there was definitely
I took a weird
like.
approach. Well, I took a weird approach where I went with the original color scheme, but I found parts that could be as different as possible from what they originally did. And I think that's part of why when I posted it and I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that sucks, and I should have gone closer to the original recipe. This sucks.
I don't know. I like.
Well, no, I'm really glad you did. I'm glad somebody did. I mean, there were other people that liked it, so I'm like, that's good because that's an example of a custom that I'm like, I'm glad other people like it to justify its existence because if I had decided before that I didn't like it, I wouldn't have posted it, which I have enough problems not posting customs that I make as it is. So I'm glad that one was out there at least. But yeah, I really like that custom you're making. So if you want to send that to me, that'd be cool. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I had a feeling you were going to ask.
Yes. I but I yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, because I was like I think the cheapest one was like $45 for loose incomplete, and then a like complete one was close to $100. I'm like, yeah, I can't justify that.
Yeah. I've seen them carded. I mean, I don't actively look for them anymore because I'm just like, I'm not gonna get one. But the last time I looked, like seriously looked, like I don't know, last year, I'm like, wow, a carded one is the cheapest is 90 plus an astronomical $17 for shipping.
Right.
And the cheapest loose one is like 80. And I'm like, no. I mean, it's awesome, but not for that price.
Right. Yeah, no. I was like, I'm like, this is probably a $10 figure on eBay. I don't need it completed in any shape, any way, shape, or form. So I'll just get a loose incomplete one for $10-15. No, I won't.
Yeah. It's a 1994 figure. They're not cheap anyways, and it's
true.
an obscure Star Brigade one. They're super not cheap. Even the basic Cobras or Joes and Cobras from 94, like the Battle Core line, even they're not cheap anymore. No. They're more plentiful, but like the Star Brigade stuff, yeah, good luck with the 94 Star Brigade payload or something. Yeah. You'd have to sell an organ for that one, I think. Much like the Ninja Viper that you may or may not ever own.
Right.
Because you don't have any organs that you're willing to give up to afford one. I don't see why not. I'm sure there's vestigial organs that you don't need that much, but
yeah, well, I'm not using my appendix, but then again, neither is anybody else. So nobody needs to need that. And I'm
but you might not get enough for your appendix on the black market to afford a Ninja Viper.
Right.
So
and I'd kind of like to keep both kidneys. I mean, my mom gave those to me, so I'm kind of sentimental to them.
I don't know what my appendix is or what it does or doesn't do. I don't particularly care
anymore.
But here's my thing: is I have it and I don't particularly want to give it up. Because I have a problem with getting things removed. I don't want it. I had a tooth extraction. That's all that I want removed from me. Thank you. Oh, I had ingrown toenails removed too. Yeah, that sucked. I don't need major surgery. No organs. So I will not have a Cobra Black Star nor a Ninja Viper. But
Yeah.
um, but anyways, wow, we've gone on for a while. That's not a surprise.
Right.
But I don't know. We're gonna try to do this a little more regularly. I mean, our standard 16 listeners, I'm sure they'll come back like they always do, which I appreciate. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate anybody who tunes into us. But I
We
think
can
we'll
look
just
at
surprise people that we.
start to get guests. I mean, we were gonna have Troy on for the longbow, and then we never got to it. I wanted to have him on while the Kickstarter was live, and that we didn't get that happening. We should have
No,
articulated chat on.
yeah, I had a couple of guests lined up last year before everything started to fall apart. So I should probably contact them, see if we can get some of those people on. But yeah, I just wanted to reconnect with the audience a little bit. So I'm gonna say thanks for listening, Brian. Thanks for recording this nonsense.
Don't worry about me recording it. You need to thank me for stitching this bitch together because it's like four
Ah,
now.
well, there's that. Yeah, there's
So
that too.
I know what
Yes.
I'm doing tonight. It isn't customizing.
Well, but
Tomorrow, just as an aside, is the Colorado Springs Comic Con, and I am going to go see Jim Stranko again.
again, wait, didn't you just get his autograph on something like last month?
No, I got his autograph on something like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, wait, that's right. You made the Nick Fury custom for that. I was thinking that already. Wait, what the hell did you go to recently that you got something autographed?
I went to the Denver Comic Con and got my Jax
Ah,
Teller autographed, which is right.
oh, that's right. Charlie Hunnam was there. Oh, that's right. It was that. Okay.
I have that right here, actually, hanging on the wall. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
because
showed that to Charlie Hunnam, and he's like, "You made that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And
yeah,
he picks it
dude,
up, and he's like showing it to everybody. But he's like, "He made this."
dude, read the message he wrote. I love the message he wrote to you for the autograph. That is amazing.
Yeah. So he wrote to Brian up in the top, did the anarchy on the top right, and then wrote amazing work, brother. Keep making art. Much love. And then autographed it Charlie Hunnam, and then wrote Jax underneath.
To actually address the autograph with while praising the custom in ink
Yeah.
is really fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably more impressed than Patrick Warburton when he saw my Brock Sampson custom, and Patrick Warburton took a picture of that he's like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. He's like, I need a picture of that.
And of course he said it in his amazing Patrick Warburton voice.
Yeah.
That guy has the coolest damn voice.
Yeah. Yeah, he took a picture of me in the custom. So
well, that's pretty awesome. But hey, next time we do a show, you can tell me about that convention and how that goes. So
yeah, because
so we have one topic picked out for next episode.
Right?
Cool.
So yeah, that's tomorrow. So I made a Nick Fury custom using Marauder parts and like Spartan 118, I think, had the head, or Craniacs. I don't remember who had the head, but it's a custom cast head. And then so I made a Nick Fury, like the original Nick Fury, and then I took some of the Steranko art and then like put my logo like subtly into it. So and Jim Steranko is just like the most awesome person to talk to ever. I mean,
I imagine, I've never talked to him, but I imagine he is awesome to talk
he
to
just will like go on and on and on, and he just like tells all these stories about what it was like to work as an artist for Marvel back in the day, and just like it's pretty cool to listen to him just like blather on, and he will do it with everybody for as long as they will stand there and listen to him.
him.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it's not like one of those guys that's like, yeah, here's my, yeah, here's your autograph, fuck off. It's like, let me tell you about what I was thinking about when I drew that.
Nice.
And this is what Stan Lee thought about it when I drew this, and I didn't agree with Stan Lee with this, so I did it anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, he's just very loud, very boisterous, and it works well. And he's really cool guy. So I'm gonna go meet him tomorrow. And I think the guy that did voiced Dr. Mindbender is gonna be there.
Oh, Brian Cummings. Oh, that guy's cool. I've heard interviews with him. He seems like a fun guy.
Yeah. I don't think I have a carded Mindbender figure to get autographed. So
one tip: don't leave your wallet at home this time. Bring that with you.
Yes.
Last time you went to a convention, I said, "Hey, can you look for some at the convention for me?" He's like, "Well, I can, but I don't have my wallet." And I didn't realize till we were driving. I'm like, "Yeah, you should bring that next time."
Yeah, that's a good
It's a
point.
good thing to have when you go to a convention.
Didn't spend a lot of money that time because I was like, I had to beg, borrow, and steal money from Emily. So
And well, there's that whole driving with your license thing. Probably have that too.
I didn't drive, so it didn't matter.
Yes, but this time, just in case, you just, but
What do we
I see Allison wagging her little tail.
Yeah,
Crazy.
they
But
want dinner. They got 15 minutes before it's dinner time.
stop torturing those dogs and
Come
feed
here.
them, for God's sake.
Come here.
Um,
Well, we'll see. Because Jack threw up last night and didn't eat breakfast this morning. So,
hey, that's fun.
right. So we're gonna see if he's gonna eat dinner tonight. All right. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for tuning back in at General Geekery. Hopefully, we'll be doing this on a more frequent basis as we move forward, and we'll definitely start working on maybe getting some guests lined up. If you've got suggestions for that, let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks. Please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, and comment below. And as always, thanks for watching.